Bada bing, bada bam, bada boom. Welcome to the Rocket Launcher Podcast, episode 142. I am your host, Supreme King. Join with me, as always, is my co-host, and his name is...
The guy who amazes.
Yeah, first off, let me tell the people, thank you for the views. I had, looked at it not too long ago. Episode before last, it spiked up a little bit. It was more than usual. I was like, okay, we got the people watching, right before all the craziness of all the shows. I didn't check the last week episode, but at least 2 weeks ago, thank you for the people for paying attention to me. Not too big of a show today. I think we're gonna look at one actual direct, not 50. So that should and it's all centered around one game, so that should go by really nicely. That's the Donkey Kong Bananza direct. We might could start with it, but I also wanted to tell y'all I got a few concerns with this Persona 4 revival. I'm gonna come back to it. We're gonna talk about that in a second, and we're gonna talk about a whole bunch of Xbox stuff. And then some Elder Scrolls is gonna come up too. A little bit more Switch news, and we just gonna have a nice show, man. We just gonna have a nice show. How is my co-host doing today? How you doing, man?
I'm not liking this heat, but other
Not
than
liking the
that,
heat.
I'm good. Nah,
The
I
heat
don't
was
like the heat
straight
at all.
for me. It's okay.
No,
I mean, I kind of just ordered some food, ate like half of it. I got the other half like in the microwave. I'm gonna eat it later tonight.
how,
Um,
like people sometimes get like they call it like winter depression or something like that. The like
winter
over the
depression,
winter when they get cold. Well, I get summer aggression, right? Like it's just I
summer
don't like the
depression.
heat, so aggression. I ain't sad.
The
I'm angry.
summer, I got some camping ish equipment that is supposed to come in the mail. At least it said Tuesday, but it's probably I ain't gonna really get a chance to like utilize it till Thursday. But I'm gonna have some stuff where I'm going to be more outside. I don't know how long I'm gonna get to take advantage of this during this summer, because like we're almost halfway through it. But I'm gonna be outside, just moving around, not really camping, but just it was just some stuff like a vest that I could have on where it holds a bunch of stuff for me, so it's not weighing down my pockets while I'm outside. Walking, jogging, whatever I'm doing. Yeah, so I plan to be outside in the heat. I understand it's gonna be over 100 degrees. Um, Monday, probably today as well, at least in my area. But I'm embracing it, man. I'm embracing the hot summer for sure, for sure. Anyways, back to the gaming. Speaking of gaming, Donkey Kong Bonanza Direct. Nintendo showed out their probably their first main big game. I know Mario Kart World is supposed to be, but it's like a lot of people were really there for those single player experiences as well. This is probably their first, like, this is truly our next gen ish title. You know, I'm gonna stop. Let me put some respect on Mario Kart World's name. Mario Kart World is still a next gen game. This is the second one. Donkey Kong Bonanza Direct. Did you see this direct?
Yeah.
How you feel about the direct, man? Tell us your
Um.
thoughts.
So one, it's nice to see Donkey Kong is the one getting some love, right? Like I feel like I fully expected Mario Kart, then a Mario game, and then like something with Legend of Zelda. Then they might do other stuff. So it's nice to see that like they're treating Donkey Kong like a main event, like he should be. Um. So that's one. Two. I feel like it's very. It reminds me a little bit of kind of Breath of the or not Breath of the Wild. It's Tears of the Kingdom, in terms of like from getting to point A to point B, you can kind of do it the way you want, right? Like being able to smash through walls or like lift up the rocks off the ground or drill or things like that. I feel like this is what people would have wanted out of a Hulk game, being able to break stuff. I don't know Donkey Kong lore like that, so him turning into the other animals, like the zebra or the bird, threw me off. But it seems like it'll be a cool, like tackle this situation the way you want to type of game. Which could lead into some replayability, like if you try and do things differently. But overall, look good.
I thought it really showed off a lot of good replayability in there. The transformations was a nice touch. I didn't really expect that too much. And then you got all those evil Kongs, a bunch of different
Hmm.
Kongs. Hopefully we get some King Kong. Maybe may not. Maybe not. But the other Kongs are there. A lot of destruction. Very colorful. Very colorful. They showed off the singer who I believe originally showed up in the Super Mario Odyssey game, Paulina,
Yeah.
who is a character in like the racing games. I think she might be in the tennis. I don't have the tennis game. But she's definitely in Mario Kart World and I think Deluxe. But the dynamic they show for a second kind of reminds me of the play off of like some of the other King Kong films where he's got this little blonde woman with him that he's just like protecting for whatever reason. I don't think it was too much the case with her, but it's just like it reminded me that when they had the girl on his shoulder and everything running around. Um, which is probably okay. It's probably cool. They kind of told us the story a little bit, but I wasn't paying that much attention. Um, but the main thing was just the gameplay, the destructibility. It looks like it's one of those games where there's a whole lot of exploration and finding stuff just hidden in the breakable ground, all those golden bananas and stuff. Which is cool for me. That's pretty cool. I believe this game comes out in July, but I'm not sure what the date was. I have this written down as July 10th, but I think that's a different. I don't know. I wrote a bunch of stuff together. That might be right though. I don't know. Maybe you could double check for me. But ton of content. I will say I did pre-order this like a while back because I had to like I got a bunch of I got a bunch of these like vouchers and gift cards and stuff I gotta literally burn through. I got another one coming in next week. And so I pre-ordered this one. I think it's gonna come in the mail a few days after it comes out because that's usually how that goes, unfortunately. But I don't think I'm gonna play this right away. I'll get more into that a little bit later. But I am excited about there being another lead for Nintendo's lineup where it's not centered around Mario, even though technically their first game was Mario Kart, but Mario Kart is more centered around the experience of just racing. There's a whole bunch of characters in there, right? It's just a big party, and they just so happen to name it Mario Kart. But at this point, Mario Kart World is like, or there's so many characters in there that you're not really focused on Mario. But at least Donkey Kong is a whole another character from the past. He technically been there this whole time because he's been in the other stuff, Smash, etc. But at least, because I've always complained about characters that were in Super Smash Brothers is not getting their own games. Well, we're seeing them do this with Donkey Kong. Technically, Kirby is already starting to get his own games as well, but they're gonna have that Kirby Air Ride. That's gonna come out either later this year or early next year. Um, but I'm here for it. I want to see more IPs from Nintendo in general. I don't also want it to just be blast from the past. I would like to see some new stuff. A whole new. I think every generation of any system should have a new IP that is independent from any other IPs, not spin-offs, not bringing something back from 20 years ago. They should always have something that's just brand new. And I'm looking forward to seeing that from Nintendo. I really hope that they at least give us something that we haven't seen before. Um, Anything else on Donkey Kong, man? All right, my co-host is not talking. Anyways, I do want to mention this
Oh,
game.
I was talking. I was accidentally muted. July 17th.
July 17th is when this game come out. Okay. And then this is not an $80 game. This is a $70 game. Um, I think I remember when they initially announced some of the $80 games, or at least we had to find them out. Like this one being 70 just kind of like didn't make anybody upset at all. But yeah, shout out to this one, $70. Absolutely, I found a way to get it cheaper. You already know how it is. I'm gonna get every last one of them cheaper. But Donkey Kong Bonanza. I'm happy to see this. If there's nothing else, we could probably move on to some more Switch stuff while we're still on the Switch topic. I do want to make a quick shout out to Cyberpunk 2077 because apparently it's had another resurgence, but on the Switch this time. I guess there was just a nice pocket of people who are really dedicated to just being Nintendo first players, or just Nintendo only players, and they did not go find copies of this game anywhere on any other system, any other platform. But they've waited and they're here to play this game on the Nintendo Switch too. Surprisingly enough, so Cyberpunk is definitely making a comeback. I guess is one of the only, not it's not the only, but one of the only third party games that happen to be 100% on the cartridge. Where I guess going forward, there's a lot of games that are going to have just the key card thing, some sort of like download only cloud kind of thing. But this one is 100% on the key cartridge, or 100% on the cartridge, the red cartridge. So, shout out to them for that resurgence. And I guess we have you want to say something about the Switch and Pokemon? What we talking about?
Yeah, it's a real sad story actually.
Sad
So
story.
this
Oh
wasn't
man.
necessarily Nintendo's fault. So basically, how you can move your um game downloads and save data from the Switch one to the
Oh, I
Switch
think
two.
I heard of that. Yeah, I know what you're talking
Yeah, apparently it does not work for the save data for Pokemon Scarlet and one other game. I can't remember, like, well, Scarlet and Violet, and then one other game. I can't remember which one. But those two, the game data will transfer over, but the save file won't. It has to be like uploaded to the cloud and then re-downloaded. Now with Pokemon, there's also Pokemon Home, where you can upload your mons to Pokemon Home, and they sit in like a storage bank, and then you can download them to whatever game you want. Well, this guy had been using Pokemon Home, and then he went to go transfer the data, but he didn't realize that the save data wasn't going to transfer for Pokemon Scarlet, so it traded over, and then I guess he deleted the file off of the
Yeah, cause
first.
I was kind of confused on that when I first heard about it. I was like, ain't it still on the original Switch? So he just didn't
Yeah,
check and deleted it first.
I guess no. I guess not. Yeah, the state. He
Oh
might have
man.
like what might have happened is he transferred everything over, and it was like transfer complete for everything. So then he like fully cleared the first Switch one with the intention to like sell it,
Mm.
or trade it back. And then when he booted up Scarlet, it was asking him to restart, but he had already cleared the save data from Switch one. So on Scarlet, there were certain Pokemon that he had that traced back to Leaf Green. So it's 20 years of Pokemon progress and like things that he had since the beginning that he's moved from game to game, all the way up, and now they're just gone forever.
You know what, man? I see the good in that. I see the good in that, man.
I don't.
It's time for him to touch grass. I see the good
Okay,
in it. I see the
no,
good.
that's great. Like nobody said he was upset. It was just the
I see
fact
the
that it's
good
like,
in it, man.
so
I'm
you're
just saying.
saying that. What I'm seeing
I'm
is that's
saying.
1,000 hours plus of progress that's just gone in the blink of an eye.
I mean, can't he go back to like one of the older systems and just like take that and go into? I don't feel like it should be 100 unless he just
Okay,
got rid of
there's
all
a
the stuff.
difference between just going back and getting the Pokemon versus this was a Pokemon that you had perfectly trained up, had it with all of his IVs or whatever, especially if he was hunting. for like certain shinies or things like that for 20 years of progress. So yes, he could go back and get another Blastoise if he wanted one. But if one, it's not the original Blastoise. Two, move sets and things like that change. So he would have to like train this Blastoise, move it between game to game for whatever things he had added to it that might have been certain abilities in certain games just to get it all back. That's a way of not touching grass. Like having to redo 20 years of progress.
I
Like I
tell you
wouldn't
what,
even want
man,
to play anymore.
we have all experienced a loss. We've all lost ones. We've lost people. We can't get them back, man. It's
You
just a
lose
way of
20 years of
life.
progress and
It's
see
just
if
a
you
way
go
of
want
life, man.
to make jokes and see if you want to see her make jokes. I feel bad for
It's just a way of life, man. I'm just saying.
you. Gotta be more careful. Some people are saying that like you got to make sure you use Pokemon Home. Then you just gotta like you gotta safeguard if you're transferring like data that's that important. Uh, like you gotta like check for stuff like that. Like that is
I
there's had to move certain save files over from like a computer to another computer or something like that. And the first thing I do is copy things to a USB. And this is like this was school files and things like that, where it's like things are gonna be on a cloud or a USB, or I'll like dump everything into one of the cloud things because it's like I'm not about to like just lose it and it's just gone forever. You gotta be careful.
I mean, I did the same transfer from Switch 2 or Switch 1 to Switch 2. I think when they first did the thing or when I first got it or whatever. Nothing told me to go and erase the old one. I mean, I still got all my old stuff. I didn't do any of that. If anything, it just made a copy. And funny enough, it made the copy, but I just kind of didn't actually play anything new on the Switch 2. I kind of only plays Mario Kart World, so the copy was just because. But yeah, I don't want to get rid of the Switch One, especially with the new Joy Cons. It goes into my other topic a little bit. It's not really a topic. It's just more of me just announcing what I plan to do, I guess. Because I'm actually considering taking the Switch 2 and just putting it back in the box for a little while and continuing to just be on the Switch 1. I've watched a lot of like reviews and stuff. People like, oh, 2 weeks later, blah blah blah, and everything. And I don't have no problem with the Switch 2. It's just for me, if it's being docked and I'm playing the footage on the main, like on a bigger screen, I would like for the footage to be able to be captured. And right now the footage for that is or I have to just figure out what to do with the capture card or whatever. I didn't actually have time to try the older capture card. I am going to probably look into it and maybe later today. But it's like if I'm playing handheld, I don't want to play with their Joy-Cons. Like I get the new feature of it being magnetic and stuff, but it's still really small compared to the other ones, the Nixie controller ones. And then on top of that, like I said, if I can't capture the footage, it's like, like where I can capture it, but like the footage I had before, I thought was a little unacceptable. So I'm like, if that's gonna act like that, I think I'll wait for a little while because I'm primarily playing a bunch of stuff on Game Pass. I feel like that service is phenomenal. And I think I will just like wait for a few more games to come out on the Switch 2 to have a nice mixture of games, and then I'll just like be on that system for a little while. But right now I'm kind of just on the PC. I'm on the Series X and I'm just having a ball. I do want to say when it comes to Mario Kart World, it's still a very fun game, but I'm actually interested in buying the DLC boost pack or whatever it is from Mario Kart Deluxe, because I think it was like $26. It says you get like almost 90 tracks or something like that. And continue to play with the bigger Joy-Cons that are a little bit more comfortable and just run through more of those tracks and probably get some footage for it. And I never bought the Super Smash Brothers Fighter Pack, the second pack. That's like $30. But I think, like I said before, I got a bunch of these gift cards. I got to figure out what I'm gonna do with them. And it's like I'd rather play that and just kind of hang out on the Switch One right now, to be honest. So that's kind of what I'm doing. But no disrespect to the Switch 2, I do still think it's a great system, but it's kind of in the way right now. Like it's sitting right here, right next. Oh shoot, knocked it over. It's sitting right next to me, but it's like I eat like kind of over here too, and I'll be like, I don't want nothing to like splash on it. And so like my setup does not give me space for another dock that I have to put something in. So I gotta like rearrange some stuff, and I don't want to do it if I could still get footage, for the podcast and stuff with the Switch One, where it's not grainy looking and all the other stuff, where it looks clear like the South of Midnight footage. You know what I mean? So yeah, that's what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna still be on there. The Donkey Kong game is the Donkey Kong game is gonna come out next week or next month, but I might not get around to that stuff till like probably November. Because I'm gonna do a bunch of Game Pass stuff right now, and then like in October I plan to play a few horror like type games. And then maybe in November I can go back to that. So that's like my schedule right now. But yeah, Switch 2 is still fun. Just to transition real quick, shout out to 007 First Sight. I believe that's the new 007 that's coming out. They announced that it's going to be on the Switch 2 as well. So that one should be fully multi-plat, and it should run really well because the Switch 2 version didn't look bad. So it should be really good on all systems going forward. And that's it for that. I guess why don't you tell me about the Elder Scrolls player, the old lady, real quick. What's going on with her? What's she doing? What's she doing? She
Skyrim
retired? She coming
Grandma,
out of retirement? What's she doing?
yeah. Skyrim Grandma is now Oblivion Grandma. So there's that 89-year-old woman who was streaming some
89.
Skyrim a while back and has been just playing Skyrim for years. Earlier this like year, I want to say around January, maybe around December last year, she was like, "All right, I'm taking a break." Like, she's been playing Skyrim nonstop. He's like, pretty much, she's like, "I'm about to do some other stuff and gardening and things like that." So I just need a break from Skyrim because we kind of, just doing the same stuff over and over and was bored. Then they dropped Oblivion, so she jumped back in, and now she's Oblivion Grandma, and she liked certain things about the game. Has complained about some other stuff. One of her biggest complaints is there's certain controls that are different. So she's like, when I played Skyrim, like, you press the like F key or whatever, and it like puts away your weapons. Now that's the R key for Oblivion. Why would they change it? Like, keep things that like meaning the same. There's no reason to change it. So she's having to get used to controls and stuff like that. But seems to be having fun, going strong. Has 2 videos up already about Oblivion. Enjoying
Wasn't
herself.
she? So she originally said she was retiring from making videos, and so she's gonna
Yeah.
continue to make vids.
Yep. She jumped back in.
Does she
Sounds like
actually make the vids, or does she got like a editor, like some family member or something who do it?
she might have a video like an editor. I think. Oh, I just know. I think she just either that or she like logs on and just streams and just uploads the unedited video.
Okay, all right.
I don't think there's like a bunch of special effects or anything. She just sits in front of the computer, plays, and then is like, "All right, oh, that's my 2-hour vid," and then just logs off. So I
Okay.
don't think she's doing things that are like overly complicated,
She not doing a bunch of like
like sound effects, special effects, or cut
a
things
bunch
like. She's not
of.
doing all of
She
that.
not a streamer university. We ain't gonna see her that. If she could do the
No.
streamer old folk home,
Fuck!
maybe it
I
could be that
kind of
one.
wish she went to Streamer University. That would have been hilarious.
That's cool. Well, kudos to her. I hadn't really gotten back into Oblivion. It's
Yeah, I've
too
been taking a
many
break.
titles at one time, but I am gonna get into it probably in July. July is most likely going to be that game and Metaphor Refuntasio. I'm going to actually dive deep into that. And then the racing games and stuff is like my arcade type stuff right now. Forza is one of them. Let me mention real quick. I actually and before we move on, I saw a video. I hadn't tried this myself. Mario Kart World. Like I mentioned a while back, they adopted the Forza rewind feature, where you rewind if something happens bad, and apparently you can use that feature if you're very clever to avoid the blue shell. And I was like, yo, that was kind of cool, but you got to time it very well where it'll scoot you out of the way. Like it'll scoot you back. Like you still got to worry about going backwards a little bit. But you'll miss the blue shell and then you just drive forward. And I thought that was pretty interesting because usually, at least with Mario Kart 8 Deluxe, the only way to really avoid the blue shell like is to use that thing that like creates sound waves or something, and it kind of just like shakes it, and
I
then it
remember
goes
the first
away.
time I discovered that it was not intentional. So I didn't know. I thought like just there was nothing you can do about a blue shell. But as I
Hmm.
was going, basically I was about to get hit with the blue shell, and I knew second place was like right behind me. So I was just like, well, you know what? If I'm gonna get stunned, they gonna get stunned too. So I did the sound wave thing right before I was gonna get hit with the blue shell because I knew I'd lose it, and I could like hit them, and that's when like
Hmm.
the blue shell just disappeared.
Yeah, yeah.
Yep. I think I
Um.
also discovered the banana can disable a red shell that way. I never knew that.
Oh yeah, that's kind of
Um,
old. Yeah, that
I
can.
never
Yeah,
knew it. I
definitely
used
that.
to I would either be so far ahead, playing the computer. I'm not like when it's other people. Um, I'm doing fine, but it's way closer. But like when it's playing against the computer, if I get hit with a red shell, I'm kind of far enough ahead that I can just gather myself and keep going. Or it's one of those maps where you're gonna make some sort of jump. So right before I get hit with a red shell, I'm doing the jump off to like some things so the shell doesn't hit me. Um, but I
Mm.
found out when I was just somebody shot a red shell and I was already throwing a banana behind me just on the track, and that's when I saw that it canceled it. A lot of that stuff was new, surprisingly for me at least.
Yeah, the banana and red shells and green shells, that part goes as far back as the original one on N64.
Mm.
That one at least. Um, but yeah, I guess we can move forward. Let me go ahead and give a quick shout out to our unofficial sponsor, which is Epic Games, who gives out free stuff like every week, and you don't have to have a credit card or anything. You can just create a profile, and you can use that profile to basically collect all these games. And then once you do have a PC, whether it was a conventional tower, maybe a laptop, maybe one of these crazy handhelds, you can log in and then you can play all of the games that you have saved. And so right now, the game that they have that's available from now until the 26th is called The Operator. I believe that was when they were still doing their theme of like some sort of doctor type thing going on. And so you can still claim that for free. And then the next week from June 26th to July 3rd, the game that's free is Sable. I believe I already have this. I believe on a couple platforms, and so probably a good game. I haven't actually tried it, but you can claim it here under Epic as well. So that's June 26th to June 3rd. The operator was actually from now to June 26th. And I saw in the system, I saw in their system, the lineup is there's going to be another game on July 4th. Now, July 4th is July 4th. And so I am wondering if that game is going to be a big game or a special release, something that's, a little bit more higher profile. But July 4th is when we're supposed to see another game get announced. I'm just thinking, just because of July 4th, a lot of people going to be off. They're going to be, home with family, barbecue, whatever, probably playing games with a bunch of family members. Could something like a really bigger game, be released on that day? What do you think about that, man? You think they're going to try something for July 4th because of July 4th?
Might do something because it's the holiday thing. Um, so I could see that. Especially if it's something maybe military-ish related. Um, I don't know. I could see that happening for sure. It'll be cool if they
Um,
did. Uh, I'm not sure if they'll like specifically try and drop a multiplayer game, but they might.
Funny enough, a game that just came to mind that they've done before, I actually think it might be Death Stranding. I would, I've
Mhm.
called it here if it is, but Death Stranding, the other game, is like lining up where it's like Death Stranding 2 is coming out around this time. They might
Uh,
give away the first one. They've been really pushing that game at one point. I wouldn't be surprised because that does count as like a higher profile game technically.
yeah.
But we'll see. We'll see. If it's correct, man, you heard it here first. I called it. Um, and I do want to mention, I looked at my Epic Games profile, and yes, I've bought a handful of games here and there, but from what I saw, it said I had 415 games in total. Now I know for a fact I've bought way less than 10. Probably 10 or 11 might be the amount that I bought. And so there's definitely about 400 games there that I have been collecting this entire time. And there's a bunch of good ones in there too. It's not just a whole bunch of just rando stuff. So I got a nice size collection over there under my library for Epic Games. And remember, you log into any one of these Xbox handhelds that we'll talk about in a second, and just play any of these games that you've gotten for free, which is pretty cool. Any sales or any other titles or something you might want to mention right
Sure,
now
you
in this
still have
second?
the Amazon games. I think the last set should be coming out this week. So by next weekend, you want to go ahead and pick up all the free Amazon games.
Anything in particular that they should be looking out for?
Uh, no, this month was a little lighter. Like it was only 7 games, as opposed to their normal. I believe they had like one of the Wolfenstein games. So complete the collection. Uh, if you've been collecting the rest of them.
All right. Okay. Well, we can move forward to the next topic, which, funny enough, I kind of expected something like this to happen. But the topic that I want to move on to is the Bungie topic, where we found out that Bungie is delaying the marathon game indefinitely.
Hmm.
It, they decided, you know what, we ain't ready to put this out. We need to rethink some things. We need to tweak some things, or maybe flat out start all the way over. I don't know what they gonna do. But the Bungie title is currently on the shelf. Now I don't know how true that is. I mean, I'm pretty sure I've seen a bunch of people, report that, but they said the same thing about the Xbox handheld, and then all of a sudden the Xbox handheld gets like announced the next week. So I don't know, but they at least saying it that it is. It seems a little bit more true when it comes to this, just because of the nature of all of the bad press that it was getting so far, the reputation of this game so far, and then the player base of like Destiny, the way it has been, just pretty much in the last 5-6 months. So what do you think, man? Is this true? Are we spot on?
Uh,
Marathon being delayed indefinitely. That
yeah.
sounds like a long time.
Yeah. I feel like I don't know. It feels like it has to do with the whole we don't want to focus on multiplayer, and then maybe we will focus on multiplayer. Um, because honestly, I feel like if the game isn't doesn't do well, then everybody getting fired. Like that's unfortunately where it's at right now. So if they don't think PlayStation wants to go or anybody wants to go all in on these multiplayer games, then you got to think: is this something we want to put out, or should we just turn our efforts into something else? Um, and why should everyone play your game as opposed to the other ones that are out already? While at the same time, how do you get your game hyped up before the next Call of Duty comes out? So if it wasn't going to be there and wasn't going to be ready to go, then ugh, I don't know. I think they need to stop with all of the multiplayer shooters because there's a lot out already that are already doing well. And they just should focus on something else. But we'll see.
I mean, the game was literally dead on arrival to begin with.
Yeah,
I don't know if delaying it definitely is gonna do anything, but
I feel like that's what
um,
they say when like they just don't want to just straight up tell you it's canceled yet.
yeah, I mean that's what happened with the Concord thing. They just kind of put it out for a week or two and then just kind of cancel it. I still think that's like one of the craziest moments
Yo,
in gaming history because you just like you gave it cold feet. You didn't even give it a chance to do anything. I felt like if it was going to end up like Destruction All Stars, at least Destruction All Stars is a title like you can
yo,
play, regardless of how anybody else. Like, there's probably nobody playing it, but you can play it if you want to. That's your choice. Nobody just took it away. Where Concord, they just kind of took it away like immediately. And then this seems similar, and it's just like, I mean, all you have to do is just like come out with it or whatever, and then just let it be. Um, but maybe the game was not really that far into development where they had something solid, or maybe they just cold feet about it. Because the gaming industry, there's something coming out all the time. Like there was a whole bunch of shows with a whole bunch of stuff, right? Um, and so it wouldn't matter where they try to put the game out, it's going to compete with something. Especially if you was gonna try to put it out in like February or maybe um, October, which were like very very heavy, notable battleground months in the past. So it is what it is. I mean, if they come out with it eventually, I mean, it's just a shooter. I will play it for a little while, and then move on, just like how I would any other shooter. We playing one right now, so I mean, it's just any shooter. I mean, it's a shooter. It's like I don't know what they would have expected from it. I don't think they should have had high expectations for this title anyway. I mean, unless they really want to capture the magic of what Destiny 1 was when it first came out or something. But it's like it's unfair for any title to be held up to like the first title that took a series off. But hey, it's indefinite, man. I don't know what's going on over there, Bungie. I don't know. We haven't heard nothing good
but
from Bungie in a
everybody's
while.
trying to avoid getting fired. Like nobody can just be like, I like this game. Let's release it and see how it does. Everything's like, all right, if this doesn't make all of the money, we lose our job.
I mean,
And
but they ain't gonna
unfortunately,
make no money. They ain't gonna make nothing. They ain't gonna.
yeah.
You
Well,
can't
I
make.
feel like
You
holding them
gotta
up,
make something.
maybe it's like, maybe the game doesn't have a strong enough like hook that makes it like different from other shooters. Like there's nothing special at all about it. So maybe they're trying to come up with some mechanic that can make it at least a little special. Is a way
Well,
to
listen,
try it.
I hope they wasn't trying to compete with Call of Duty. Call of Duty didn't went full Matrix or something like a week ago. So listen,
Yeah.
you can't go out the box. I mean, they went out the box, all right. They went out the Matrix over there. I don't know what they was doing. It was like upside down and doing all this like sci-fi-ish stuff. I mean,
What if that was
yo,
their hook and then Call of Duty just
hey,
did
Call
that?
of
And they're
Duty,
like,
and then they
no.
just doing it. Hey, maybe they beat them to the punch. They got more money. They got more
They're
solid,
gonna do it better.
backing. So, hey, It is what it is. Call of Duty is that deal. So it is what it is. I guess we just have to see what's gonna happen because at the same time, the Borderlands 4 is coming out. My co-host is a true fan. He gonna buy it for $80. And
No,
maybe
I'm not.
Bungie was like, "Oh man, he not gonna get the $80 from him. They gonna get it. I mean, he gonna give it to Borderlands." So I don't know. So hey, maybe they was looking at it like, "Man, we ain't gonna get that money." I don't know. What you think? I
How's this
guess
all on me?
I'm just saying. I was just saying. All the other games is coming out. All the other shooters. We got Call of Duty with Neo in it, and then we got the Borderlands 4 has got a whole bunch of lineage with all the other Borderlands anyway. So I mean, hey, it is what it is. They're gonna have to come up with something eventually. It's like procrastinating ain't gonna do it. You have to at least if it was like the Mind's Eye game where it was just in a bad state,
That could be
by
it as
all
well.
means
And now they don't know like
keep it.
when it'll
Yes.
be fixed, so that's why it's indefinite. Instead of trying to be like this time, like it'll be ready. If it's not,
Well, if that's the case, it is what it is. I'll accept it. That kind of that brings me to my next topic that I kind of want to touch on. It's probably gonna be very brief, but I just want to mention Persona 4 Revival. Now, Persona 4 Golden is supposed to be the definitive version of that game, and obviously that game, maybe the visuals and some of the areas is a little dated, but they put it on PC, a long time ago, or maybe a couple of years ago, when they ported over like all the games at the same time.
hmm
Um, I'm like very deep in that title to the point where starting over is like really starting over. It ain't like you just you gonna be on the level of that Pokemon dude you was talking about. That's like, okay, now I'm really losing some progress if I had to start over. But I find out the title is set to come out sometime next year or possibly as far out as 2027. But it was like the earliest time this is expected to come out is April 2026. I'm like, I'm definitely not about to wait for this game. Now, if that was the case, I thought it was gonna come out like by the middle or the end of this summer. I was like, this is like an old game. They've already done it all the way through. They're just gonna get rid of some of those Vita looking me characters and then switch it out with like a fully like person the way it would look in Persona 5. That's what I thought they were doing. And then maybe changing some of the gameplay slightly, maybe some of the mechanics. Um and shout out to Persona 5 is on the screen. I'm glad I talked about this topic while I was on the screen because I usually don't do that or line it up correctly. But I just feel like, man, I'm not about to start that over. Y'all, Persona games are like really long. And
yes,
so, for me, I was already, into it, far into it, understanding the plot a little bit. And then they were just like, bam, we got Persona 4 Revival. And, I didn't think too much into it, but I was like, okay, they probably go up the graphics or something. But then I found out the bad boy ain't coming out till like sometime next year. I'm like, well, why would I stop? I can't stop for it, man. I can't stop for it. That's just me. I don't know. What do you think? Do you want to wait for that, or do you just want to play the one
um,
that you already got? I mean, if we just
I'm gonna
talking
play
about
the one I got.
updating the character model,
I'm gonna just play the one that I got. Because from what I've seen from like scenes like knowing that it's an older game, I don't think it looks too bad. Um, like I don't need it to be like current gen looking. It's fine. I know it's not current gen. Also, I feel like this is mainly for the people who had played it and didn't buy the like Persona 4 Golden, Persona 3 like remaster stuff. Where it's like, well, here's another one now that we can get you. I just want Persona 6. Like I want a new one.
I kind of feel
So
like
they already hinted at a new
metaphor.
one.
Yeah, I think metaphor refantasio is like right there for the people.
Yeah.
You know.
Oh, and I plan on playing that too. It's just overall like because they hinted at like a new one with like the whole green paint and that old poster that they showed. And it's like, okay, like we're handing out a new one. Stop re-releasing like all the old ones. If you're gonna remaster something, especially because you just did, here's Persona 4 Golden, and here was Persona 3 like P3P, and then they do P3R, and it's just like no, if you're gonna remaster something, if it ain't 1 and 2, then just focus on the new one. Like I don't know, I just feel like their attention is too divided. It sometimes feels like it's like if you didn't take the time to redo 4 and 3 like 3 times. And I really like Tactica, right? But releasing Tactica and then constantly redoing 4 and 3, it's like you're not working on 6.
Yeah, I don't really know what's going on with that. I feel like that revival game though, I kind of have to call a spade a spade.
It's just
I
money.
think it's a cash grab a little bit
Oh yeah,
because it's almost like Night Rain is right now for Elden Ring. Well, at least with and actually got to take that back a little bit. At least with Night Rain, they they reworked the system and made a whole nother standalone title. Where this is kind of just like, well, here's the same thing. It's not we only reworking the graphics a little bit. It's like a little bit of a mod almost. Because now the companies are selling the mods. That's the way it seems. But um, if anything, because I do plan to, I kind of had already started a file, replay um, replay Persona 5 Royal. I think some of these games are games you should replay once. I think maybe once I'm done with Persona 4 Golden, I might consider the replay as revival, simply because I know it will be on Game Pass. But I don't think I really am like too pressed to like push to that version of the title. Um, it also reminds me of like the Spiral and Crash like old games that they like did the remaster to at one point. Is like for me, I wasn't too pressed to playing them because I had played the original so much that I really just wanted to move on to something else. And I still technically I own one of them, I think through one of the services, but I don't own the Spiral one at all. It might be in Game Pass, I don't know, but I'm not pressed to playing it because I played it for so long as a kid. Where I feel like with Persona or something, like sometimes it could be exhausting to go through that full game like that, just to like repeat it just because somebody else decides to like resell it to you. Um,
yeah.
so I'm kind of hot and cold on it. Maybe if they show me something that's more wowing, if there's a big wow factor to it, then I'll say, hey, let me go back and try that. But I think for right now, Persona 4 Golden and Zelda Tears of the Kingdoms are supposed to be my two ongoing games where I'm not really pressed for like playing it and beating it right away. Just play a little bit of it here and there, really flesh out the game and really enjoy it. But I don't feel like I would want to start over. That's just me. Especially if it's really set to come out in the middle of next year. In April, I mean, you right in the middle of GTA field at that point.
Yep.
But if that's what they want to do, then more power to them. I just think I'm gonna finish my game that I have right now. I'm playing it portably on the Steam Deck. And I don't have no issues really outside of them doing the whole de novo check every week. But that's me. You didn't start this yet, though, did you? Did you start Persona 4?
Nope. But I planned on starting it sometime in the middle of the summer.
So you might consider playing the revival one a little bit more if you haven't started it yet.
I would have considered, but I already bought. Like, if I didn't buy Golden already, then yes, I would be like, all right, well, I'm just gonna wait for this one. But because I already bought it, like, I'm not gonna buy it again for updating
I
graphics.
I bought the Persona 3 Reloaded. I don't think I ever bought P3P, but I do have the Reloaded version. That was the one that I chose to play. Um, yeah, but I guess as far as Persona 6, I don't know whenever that's going to come out, but I am going to start Metaphor at some point that's not an ongoing game for me. That's in Game Pass. I'll have to start it and stick to it. But yeah, I just want to touch on Persona 4 Revival. It's no hate, no shade. I just kind of feel like it might be just somewhat unnecessary, at least for me, in my opinion. But we'll see because we didn't really see much anyway. They just kind of showed my man's running down the hallway. The music was still a nice touch to hear because I really like Persona 4's music. But yeah, that's almost the show. One more topic, bigger topic. Shout out to Call of Duty that's on the screen. Um, Xbox, man. I gotta talk about Xbox. I'm hearing some great things. And then we gotta address one of their leaks. Apparently, well, to start off, we know about Xbox's version of the Rogue Ally and Rogue Ally X. I don't think we have a release date for them, but there are more enhanced versions of the Rogue Ally. The Rogue Ally is a fantastic device. I do highly recommend it. But if you don't have a Rogue Ally at all, I would probably say to hold out for the Xbox's version because the Xbox's version is supposed to have a certain amount of software. From my understanding, that's going to be exclusive to the Xbox version for a little while. It's not going to be permanent, it's going to be timed exclusive, and then they'll release that software on the other systems and stuff or the other handhelds. But it's like a Xbox app, and then there was like a leak of a Steam app that was supposed to be available on the Xbox consoles. Now that part I think might have been a little bit more photoshopped. I don't know if that one was too real, but they mentioned Sarah Bond mentioned just this past week that Microsoft is working on the next gen consoles. But they made a few promises that I thought was pretty cool. Obviously, it was still going to be back compat. They're reworking their backwards compatibility system where they're adding on this new feature that they're going to call Xbox Classics. And they called it an Xbox Classic program, where they're going to bring back even more games from the past to make it playable on the latest systems. So just so you can have the ultimate Xbox system in the new Xbox. And then also the seamless transitions from like your handheld to the system itself, as far as the saves and everything, the cloud saves, the game saves. A lot of that, like you need to download the highest version and all this other stuff, accidentally erasing all your stuff. Like they've made it to the point where that should not happen under their ecosystem. And I can actually vouch for some of that with some of the stuff they have right now. It is very seamless. Scary seamless. I remember one time I made a clip that was a small clip, and I didn't even tell it to do it, but they emailed me the clip and it was like on my phone, even though I was like at the system. I had to take nothing and like take apart no cords or nothing and do anything. I had the clip on my phone, and I was like, yo, this thing is like really, really seamless. It's just they have it all together. But yeah, I just wanted to mention that they have a rumor that I don't know if it's a rumor at this point because we've seen some real screenshots of this, but Xbox is supposed to also be partnering with Meta or Facebook or Instagram, them people, to bring the Meta Quest 3, bring out an Xbox version of the Meta Quest 3 similar to how they did the Rogue Ally. And the screenshots, so like if anybody knows, the Meta Quest is normally a white system, white and black, but the screenshots that came out, they showed that it was basically an all black headset with like some green on it, and it's kind of like where it normally lights up, it will light up green. Did you see any of these screenshots?
I did not.
You ain't see none of this stuff. This is pretty cool, and it's like I'm still interested in VR, But with VR, I don't think it was enough for me to really try to really go out of my way to get a bunch of games. I have been like paying attention to games here and there. I know there's a VR Direct in about a month, but with them incorporating it with the Game Pass and stuff, and then making more games available under Game Pass that's going to be working with this machine on top of what you buy. That's got my attention. That definitely has my attention. Plus, like I mentioned before, I cannot stand the white color systems. I will only tolerate it here and there every now and then. But with them changing it to like black and green, I'm like, yo, this thing looks good now. It looks better. Even though I got too many black systems too, I just think it looked really good from what I saw, and I'm interested. I'm interested in VR a little bit more. I do want to see some more games, obviously, but the Batman game that's exclusive over there, I thought that really. I heard that went over very well in the VR community. It's just not too many people are into VR that they played it, but I heard that game was actually good. Was there anything you want to mention about VR at all? Any of those games that you pay attention to, like that Batman one or
I
whatever?
mean, the Batman one looks great. And then of course, I would love to try out the Iron Man VR. Um, there's a few others, of course. Beat Saber, the common ones. It looks like there are some good VR games. I think there's also one where it's very Skyrim looking, with some humor in it, but you're like a knight, or just straight up Skyrim VR. Um, like there are some cool games. I feel like putting them on Game Pass though is going to be very beneficial because now it's like less of an investment, right? Like if you're going for VR, you have to buy the system, buy the games, and you kind of have to like really hope that you gel with it, right? Because if you don't like it, that's a lot of money just kind of gone. Whereas at least now, if the games are available and you're just buying the hardware for it, you're hopefully bound to find at least one game that you really enjoy. Um, at the very least, or it becomes less of like a financial burden. So, I think it's a great idea.
Yeah, I mean, I'm very excited with some of the things that they're trying to do over here at Xbox. The VR thing was probably the last piece of gaming tech that I do not have. Now I've heard the rumors that this thing is supposed to be announced as early as the 26th of this month, which is definitely right around the corner. So if that's the case, we'll touch bases on it next week. But I am also still very much excited about the next gen hardware for them, specifically because of the Steam integration, probably the Epic integration. Sarah Bond had promised that there will be multiple storefronts available underneath the new Xbox console, and obviously the main one is Steam, that everybody will want on there, and that brings the Steam community, and all of the games that's associated with Steam to the console space. Because I mentioned a lot of times with Epic Games, it's like once you get a PC of some kind, you can like log in and play everything. You might not even need to do it. You might could just stick with the console, and then just like download the Epic app, and then just log into there, everything that you've been like saving this whole time, and then boom, you got all these Epic games. I got like 400 of them. You got all these Epic games. You got all the Steam games, which includes everybody who tried to skip Xbox, and then all of the PlayStation games, right? And then you got all of these Game Pass titles, which potentially also includes the VR titles, which is just phenomenal to me. That closes the gap, like completely closes it. And then obviously you gonna have your people out here that's gonna be pirating they Switch 2 stuff and playing that as well because of the PC side of it. But I'm excited, man. I'm excited about closing the gap. I'm excited about what I'm hearing on this. You got any last points? Anything at all about this Xbox news?
Mm-mm. I think you said it all.
Or my co-host hating. He hating over there. He don't want. He not
I'm not
excited.
hating. I have
He
nothing to
hating. I don't know.
contribute.
He ain't
I ain't
got
got an
nothing.
Xbox. I ain't
He
got
hating.
VR. I
He
already
hating.
said it's a great idea. What more
He
do you
hating.
want? Like, it's good. It's fine.
Y'all hear it in his voice. He mad because
Oh
I'm gonna
my
be playing some
god.
God of War on my new Xbox with the VR and everything. I'm gonna be throwing the axe in VR.
Do what you gotta
I'm gonna
do,
be
man.
like,
Have
boom,
fun.
boom. He hating. He hating. He hating. I got
Okay.
a bone to pick with you, sir. I see on my Discord. I'm looking at the Discord. It tells me that you was playing Split Fiction.
Oh yeah.
You was playing Split Fiction. My co-host just didn't even care. Didn't even let me know he was gonna start
My bad.
Split Fiction.
Me
Anything
and
you
my
want to
bro were
say?
looking for something to play.
He was looking for
And he
something.
already bought it. So I bought the friend pass. And we played. I would have told you later today. Like we played it last night.
Mm,
It's good.
mm.
Really good story. Very nice gameplay. Nice shout outs to like other games. So not only their own, like they have Easter eggs to their own previous games. Um, they have Easter eggs to like other games as well. Um, so for example, then like without spoiling anything, there was like a little mini like side quest that's like optional that you can do, and it takes place very deserty, and they make a Sands of Time pun reference to like Prince of Persia. So it, like shouts out a lot of other games as well. But the gameplay is really good. Your normal work together. The puzzles do not necessarily hold your hand. So like it's a mix of where if one person's like kind of really bad, the other person can still progress in a way for like if your kid's gonna keep playing, if you're playing with your kid and the kid keeps messing up, you'll still be able to progress kind of. However, there's other parts where it's like, nah, you better dodge correctly and like move correctly and like everything. It's gonna test your skill. So it's a nice mix of like difficulty balance. But it's pretty cool. I enjoy it. Plus, I figured we ain't gonna get to it till like next year. Like we have so many games in between to play. No,
I
by
mean,
that
we
time
could.
I'll be
I mean,
willing to
we could
play it.
have. Though I'm just saying, we could have. I mean, since my co-host did not think about my feelings. He didn't care at all. So if that's the
Somebody's
case,
great.
we definitely gonna have to play the game that I mentioned before, the Whisper Mountain Outbreak. That was the top-down Zelda, not Zelda, zombie-ish game, Resident Evil-ish game. It says it comes out August 11th, 2025. Approximately 7 weeks according to Steam. I don't know how much this costs. We definitely
You
gonna have to
just.
play that, man. We got to. Since
I
you,
say Xbox did well, and then you attack me for not being uber excited about it. Then follow that up with I ain't consider your feelings.
my co-host was hating on Xbox and all of their success with the meta,
No,
with the handheld, with the PlayStation games being forced on the Xbox. He hating. He hating. He don't want to
I
talk
never
about.
hated that.
He hating on the Game Pass. He don't want to play the Metaphor Refantasio right now. I don't know what's going on.
Oh my god.
I don't know what's going on. But anyways, that is the show. We will catch you probably next week. Thank you to everyone who was watching. I guess a couple weeks ago, I saw it had a nice spike of views. Anyways, more content to come out. I do want to make one mention. I almost forgot this because this is on my page. Capcom has a direct that will be about 40 minutes long. That is going to be on 6/26/2025. So in a few days, we'll probably give you some more feedback on that next week. It's going over some of the stuff they've been going over though, which includes the new Resident Evil, maybe some Monster Hunter, and that Pragmata game that I like completely gave up on, and maybe a few other things. So we gonna touch bases on that probably next week. I could deal with a direct once a week. I could deal with that. I could deal with 15 in 1 week is not, no. I can't really deal with like one every week, one every other week. I'm right there for it. So that's what I'm just wanted to mention. Anyways, like, comment, share, subscribe. I will catch y'all next time. Peace.